Hi there, and welcome to Free Coaching Friday. I want to tell you that it's just been one of those rough days, but you know what? Sometimes you have to kick down and make it work. Guys, the question I want to ask you today is, what is your positioning on wealth? I want to talk about wealth and wealth creation. When I look at the acronym of wealth, it starts with the letter W. And for me, the first thing is wisdom, the application of wisdom. Do you apply wisdom when it comes to creating wealth? Now, there are various ways to look at wealth creation. You can basically watch television and get some ideas there. You can consult with somebody else. But your due diligence is that you have to basically do your necessary research, but it starts with the application of wisdom for whatever you're going to do. Because wealth creation is not just about money. Wealth creation is about an entire new lifestyle, an entire new way of looking at how you want to approach your life. So for me, wealth starts with the wisdom to actually have a balanced approach to everything that you do. And that is your time that you spend for your health, the time that you spend for your emotional development, the time that you spend for your intellectual stimulation, and the time that you obviously spend to create wealth by using the money or using resources in the market to basically get to a position of better wealth. It's great to see Yuri. It's great to see Thomas all the way from Cape Town. How's it, George? Great to see you. So guys, in the wealth acronym, W is about wisdom. Do you apply wisdom? And I think that the problem is that some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. If you want to create wealth, what wisdom? Well, it is all about getting the experience, getting better at it, and basically trying and retrying. Let's take the rest of the acronym because that's going to help us. The E is I actually would like us to evaluate. Where are you currently in your life? Are you happy with what you have? Do you have sufficient cash flow? Do you have sufficient monies available in your bank account? Do you have sufficient assets? And do you have sufficient passive recurring income activities? Now, all of those are obviously important, but I have found that people are living basically from hand to mouth. That means that their monthly salary comes in and literally they run out of days to spend it because the money runs out within the first week. The debit orders go off. It's like whether the salary goes in on the 25th or it goes in on the 1st, you just hear the ding, 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 and all the debit orders go through, and all of a sudden, there's just such a little bit amount of money left. So you want to evaluate where you are in terms of your positioning, because if you can evaluate, you'll be at a position to say, how good am I? What is my standing? Now, normally I use a scoring system. I say 10 out of 10 is where I would like to be. So the question to you today is, when it comes to wealth and wealth creation, please score yourself, evaluate yourself out of 10. How fulfilled are you? If you literally have got oodles of money in the bank account, you might think that you are there and that you've arrived. But then again, if your money is not working for you, you still are not a 10 out of 10 because you may have a lot of cash in the bank, and that's where you could be. The other thing is a lot of people have got many assets. They've got property, they've got a home, but they are battling with cash flows. So you're looking at your evaluation of where are you to actually create this balance between how much you spend on a monthly basis and how much is coming in and how much is going out. Be honest with yourself. If you get X amount, let's call that 10,000 Rand a month, just a round figure. When you get to the end of the month, do you basically exceed the amount of money that you have? The evaluation has to be that I live beyond my means. Because the first thing is, as you evaluate, is to ask yourself, do I live within my means? Two, do I have a monthly budget? Now, I think that one of the biggest problems is that people do not have a budget that they work according to. You say to yourself, I live every month and I know where my money goes. Well, here's the problem. If you do not tell your money where to go to, it will go wherever it wants. You need to tell your money where to go to if you want to be effective when it comes to wealth management. We're speaking about the acronym today of wealth management, and the first thing is applying the wisdom in terms of where you are. And I'm busy with the E and saying, I want you to evaluate. I want you to evaluate what you need to do and where you are. Let's talk about the cash flow generation part of it. So many people have got the assets in place, but they battle to have sufficient cash flow to go to the next level. So if you don't have cash flow, how do you basically stimulate cash flow? It goes back to step one, use wisdom. That wisdom might be that you go and attend a seminar. It might be that you go and see a mentor. You might have to sit with a coach. But the thing is, it leads to the third letter of this acronym. The W was for wisdom. The E was basically that you want to evaluate, and then the A. The A is you're going to have to take action to change course to wherever you need to go. So what action is necessary in your case? I can tell you, action for me that's necessary is to, on a regular basis, to review where I am financially. We tend to sort of default at the end of the year. When we look at December, when we get into New Year, into January, we sort of look at the year, we look back at the year and say, how effective was I this year? Guys, the reality is, looking at your finances on an annual basis is not sufficient. You need to look at it at least at a quarterly basis from an evaluation point of view, and then you need to, with this A, action what needs to be changed. Because action says I'm either doing certain things in a certain way, or I need to change the way I have been doing certain things. Now, here's a big giveaway. If you find that you keep on running short of money by the 20th of the month to the 25th of the month, that means you are living beyond your means. So one or two things have to happen. Either one, you have to cut out some of your expenses. Two, you have to be tighter on your budget control. Or three, you have to stimulate new ways to get money in on the top line. That means you have to do something to make more money. Now, there's various ways to make money. I just spoke to somebody last night that said to me, they really have nothing and they've got no means to money. I asked him the question. If I had to say to you that I've got a 65-inch television, and normally the price is 68,000 Rand, but I'm going to help you buy that television, and you've got 24 hours only, for 6,800 Rand, what would you do? That person's the eyes just start glistening in terms of, are you saying 24 hours, but for 6,800 I will get this massive TV? They said, dude, how do I have to do? Even I have to go and borrow the money. 10 to 1, I'll look at my garage and see what I can sell. I said, they're talking. You need to take action that is appropriate to lead to somewhere. So what action can you take? Start looking around. What have you got in your garage that's been sitting there for months that is not bringing you income? For instance, somebody said to me that they wanted to join a business venture, but they don't have the cash flow. Yet they've got 3 bicycles sitting in the garage that the kids have there that they haven't used for 9 months. Sell them. Take action. Make your cash flow, make it happen, and work towards a solution. Today is about creating wealth. You are the key, applying wisdom. You can see that every single step that we speak about has to do with applying more wisdom to get to the next step. Evaluate all the time. That evaluation cannot be on an annual basis, but more on a quarterly basis. And obviously, if you want to be effective on a monthly basis, to say, where did I tell my money to go and how did I do? I think a lot of us miss the boat that we don't do that. We actually don't tell our money where to go. We just sort of hope it goes all right. Then we looked at the A for action. Action is what remedial action I need to take, what things I need to do to make sure that my money is going where I'm telling it to go. Now, when it comes to money, it's obviously a small, call it the immediate needs, also sort of a medium position, and then it's a long-term position. I think we need to more in terms of going places, say to ourselves, how can we leverage what we know? Well, this is what we know, that when we apply principles to money, is that the immediate cash flow is what you need to live on a day-to-day basis. But if you don't take a certain part and put it away, if you don't take a certain part and make it work for you, if you don't take systems in place to leverage them to get to the next level, you will not get ahead financially. You have to find ways, and this is what the L is for. So W was wisdom. E was to evaluate. A was for taking action. And the L is you need to leverage what is being put in front of you. Now, sometimes if nothing's in front of you, you have to go out looking for it. But there are things and systems and programs that you can leverage to get ahead. I remember that I did years ago, I did a course by Ron Blue on the blueprint of money, how to manage your money better. That was more in terms of setting up a budget and controlling it. That was the immediate way of doing it. But in terms of leveraging it, there are so many programs and systems available in the market today that can help you. Now, you guys have heard that there's 3 kinds of money. You heard that there's minerals that is natural, like gold and silver and platinum. That is literally God's money. He gives it to you, he gives it to us. But how do you get your hands on it? Well, you can get your hands on it if you leverage a system of finance who is using gold, silver, or platinum to get ahead financially. Then, of course, there is the other form of money, and that will be the fiat. That is what you get in your salary. But what is the problem in the world today? We find that the fiat currency system is starting to implode on us. Just look at what happened in Zimbabwe. And I've got some friends in Zimbabwe listening to this. I'm sorry, your money is just becoming less and less useless. At least you went across to the US dollar. But as we know, that the Zim dollar became worthless. You can literally go with a wheelbarrow full of money and you couldn't even buy bread in the supermarket. Look at Venezuela today. Look at Greece. So we've got these financial crises that are cropping up, which means that the second kind of money, the fiat currency, is also not working. And sadly, in South Africa, we are starting to experience the same, because your governance in your country has got a lot to do with how well do they manage the portfolios. I think years ago, a president like Thabo Mbeki, I mean, he was switched on. He knew what to do with money. He was a learned man, and he knew how to gear. Now, money is about gearing. Gearing means the following, and that is that if I have 1 rand, how can I gear this rand to bring more money in for me? Now, here's a simple form of gearing, and that is lending and borrowing. If I lend it to you and I borrow it from you, if I give you 1 rand, but you have to pay me 10 cents, that means I'm making 10%. So the gearing of that rand is 10 cents. But in good financial governance, you want to look at a gearing of at least double your money. So there are places that can help you get double your money, but wherever those people say they're going to give you double your money in literally 1 day or in one go, please be cautious. It sounds like a scam to me already, because if it's too good to be true, it normally is too good to be true. You got it. So that's what you and I want to be very cautious of. If you can basically get to double your money in a period of, say, 3 to 5 years, you have done exceedingly well. Because here's the truth. If you go to more of the investment type companies that we have currently, I don't want to mention names, but you know what I'm talking about, where you have your retirement annuities, we have your life policies. Guys, if they can give you 6 to 8% per annum, you have done exceedingly well. I know that certain banks will now give you an amount of money, put it on fixed deposit for a year or 2 years, and you might make 8 or 9%. But here's the truth, you're not getting ahead financially. Why? What about inflation? What about the devaluation of the money? Because you need to beat, at least in my books, 16% true inflation. That's what I think. You need to beat the interest rate of, say, another 6% to 8%. So 6 plus 6, 16 plus 6 is 22. I reckon that if you cannot turn your money to the tune of 25 to 80% per annum, you're getting behind. You will be leaving behind. You will get left behind. So what you need to do is to find out what have you got out there that you can leverage to make at least 25% per annum, not per month. It's not going to happen. And if anybody promises you that kind of money, run, because they're going to take your money and you're not going to get your money back. So we're talking about the fiat currency that literally has dropped us because the value is going backwards. I remember in 1972, my parents went to the United States of America on leave, and it was 2 rands for $1. Can you believe that? That there was a stage that South Africa's currency was stronger than the US dollar. But today it's different, and it's about 14.5 to 15 rands to $1. So we basically have regressed. We've gone backwards. Leverage. Question is, have our governments leveraged the systems in place for them to gear their money properly? I don't believe so. I believe that they can do a better job, but there's a macro level, because one of the problems in the world is because of the regressing value of fiat currency, countries' debt are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Trillions of dollars, and they just can't get out of it because they get onto that proverbial sandy that they just can't get ahead. So I'm busy with wealth creation. Yeah, I'm talking about you need to leverage the systems that are out there. I spoke about God's money. Find out how you can get your hands on God's money, whether that's trading, whether that's purchasing, whether it's buying and keeping. There are various ways to do it. I'm talking about fiat currency that is not the solution. The last one, obviously, is cryptocurrency that has become the people's money. Now, I recall that when Bitcoin just came out at $380, I went to my younger brother, who was an advocate, and I said to him, dude, let's take 100,000 and put it in. And he looked at me and said to me, "What you smoking? You're going to lose your money." But the thing is, if you do your due diligence, this is what you're busy with. The W was for wisdom. Do you have the wisdom to study what's happening in the market? If you're so busy with other things that you can't do your due diligence, well, of course, then don't take chances. But if you're able to do so, do so. And I can tell you now that Michelle and I were able to take dollars at 380. And when it came to at the boom, it was never supposed to boom up to $19,000. That was not right for the economy because it actually injured the economy. But it was a good time to say, right now, if in a short period of time it literally went skyrocket, it's a good time to sell some of that and make some profit. And I can tell you now, we did very well in terms of selling just under $15,000. Now, where's cryptocurrency today? I'm talking about Bitcoin in particular. It's about 10,500. Why is Bitcoin in particular working? Well, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these other cryptocurrencies are what calls the people's money. You have to understand that reverse engineering is one of the most important factors today when it comes to leveraging a system or leveraging a money unit, be it gold, that means God's money, be it fiat currency, you can leverage that still, or be it cryptocurrency. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, it's reverse engineering because there's only 21 million coins ever released. And of the 21 million, 19 million already has been handed out. And you have a blockchain that every 10 minutes gives you 12 and a half Bitcoin that gets released. But every 4 years, that halves, which means that in June next year, the 12 and a half is going to go down to 6.25. And so it will every 4 years become less and less and less. So to get your hands on the remainder of Bitcoin is going to be harder. Here's the truth. Whether you believe it or not, the value of Bitcoin, people's money, will go up. Supply and demand, because there's less available for more people wanting to get their hands on it. It all has to do with the word adoption. Because as the world adopts to getting into cryptocurrency, we will work to more towards it. Now, the other one in terms of leverage is that there are companies that's creating their own ecosystems, their own money systems, because they realize that if they can create their own ATMs, if they can create their own money value, if they can create members that get excited about their money unit, they will create their own economy. And that ecosystem is going to give them, they literally become their own bank. Now, please be very wise. Yes, days can be leveraged, but if you don't have the knowledge to go into it, you may burn your fingers. We're talking about wealth creation today. I want you to apply wisdom at all times. I would like you to evaluate where you are and what you should be doing. I'd like you to take action, say what must change from the way I used to do things to how I need to do things in the future. I'd like you to leverage the systems that we have out in the place. Then the T. What can we do when it comes to wealth creation? T. Let me think. I haven't given this a thought. T. Be thankful for what you have. You know, we so often are more towards that one day when I get the new house, one day when I get the new car, one day when I get the new watch, I am going to be happy. Guys, that is exactly where we're going wrong. The T is specifically for you and I to be thankful for whatever we have. It doesn't matter how much you have. Be thankful, be grateful for what you have been given. Now, we know that there's a parable in the Bible that says people were given talents. One guy was given 1 talent, one was given 5, one was given 10. Now, as we know that the person with the 10 quadrupled his money. We know that the person with 5 doubled it to 10. But the person with 1 was so scared of the master, he buried it. And proudly, when the master came back for the money, he said, "Here it is, dude. You know, I was so scared, and I know you're a tough guy, so here's your 1." He said to me, "You wicked servant." And the master was angry with him. Why? Because he took the 1 that was given to him and he buried it. Guys, be thankful for what is given to you, but also you need to take the risk to say, what can I do with what has been given to me? Now, if you are sitting there today and finances are tight, I want to tell you, look around. What have you got in your garage that has been sitting there that you have not touched and you have not turned into cash flow? When last did you go through your cupboard? And this is what I do once a year. In fact, there's seasons. There's winter season and there's a summer season. I have this game and I've done it with my kids and I'm still doing it with myself and with my wife. And we go through, did I wear this? Yes, yes, no, no. All the no's come out because you know what? If the clothing is in my cupboard and it's been there for 2 seasons, I'm never going to wear it. It means I'm either too fat for the clothing, or I don't like the style, or I don't like the fashion. Get rid of it. Donate it to somebody. Use it. Because if you're thankful, you'll start flowing over to other people. You start giving to other people. Now, immediately you thought, oh, go and sell the clothing. No, sometimes just give it, because you know what? You cannot outgive your creator. It's impossible. The more you give, the more you receive. I've just come to a place where when we start giving to people, yes, sometimes it's money, but the one thing that you can give is your time. Your time equates to money in their lives. So give your time if you don't have the money. But as we serve and as we give and as we become thankful for everything we have, we're busy creating a new platform for wealth creation and wealth management. We're talking today on wealth, and I just like to compete. I'm just checking out my time. And I just want to say to you guys, I'm going to go back to 3 o'clock in the afternoons, because my people in Malaysia said that at 8 o'clock at night, which is our 2 o'clock, they're still having stuff and it didn't work for them. And I have a lot of people in Malaysia and I'd like to serve them. That's why we're back to 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Free Friday coaching. It's here. So W was for wisdom. E was for evaluate your circumstances. A was action. What do you need to action to change? Then leverage. What systems have you got in place to leverage so you can go next level? Thank you for all the hearts, guys. You know, Facebook Live is difficult. It's like I'm speaking to you, but I can't see you, but I feel you. I sense you. So yes, thank you for those hearts. I love it. And then we have the T, to be thankful, as we basically look at all of our finances. But the last one is the H. Sometimes you have to learn to hold on. Sometimes you have to learn to hold what you have. Sometimes what you've been given is sufficient to sustain you for a certain period. Sometimes you have to learn that if you've been given an insert of cash flow, that it was for a specific reason. Don't immediately go and spend it. If, for instance, let's say somebody comes and hands you 10,000 Rand as a gift, your propensity is, and most people is, to immediately say, oh, I can do this, I can buy that. Stop. Hold on to it. Go and apply time. Over a period of time, go and consider what could be done. How can I leverage this money? Who can I consult? All these factors that I've been speaking about today, applying the wisdom. Who's got the wisdom? I mean, have you ever seen a lotto player that has gone ahead financially? No, they don't, because they don't know how to manage their finances. Because that number one thing is they lack the wisdom to get to the next level. Also, they don't have the ability to evaluate, because they're looking with, now basically blinkers, because they're just seeing the money and they see the sparkle in their eyes and just want to go and spend the money. That's why they need to consult with somebody else. They might have to. The action is no action in that case until such time, because you are busy with the last one of wealth, and there's H for hold. Sometimes you just have to hold on to what you've received until you've got an action plan or way of means to really make your money work for you. Here's one of the biggest problems that we have in today's society in wealth creation. You don't know when to let go, and you don't know when to take appropriate action, because you've got a lack of knowledge. Please don't listen to your broken next door neighbor. I'm so sorry, you're broke, not broken. Obviously, he's broken because he's broke. But please don't listen to your broke next door neighbor and ask him advice on anything that he doesn't know about. I will never forget them when cryptocurrencies came into being, the people's money. People immediately started asking other people, what do you think of this? Who are you speaking to? Do they know about cryptocurrency? Have they been successful in applying the principles to make cryptocurrencies work for them? You're speaking to the wrong people. Hold on to that thought and do not take any action, because you don't know what to do yet. There's no rush. However, if you get the opportunity to leverage a system that's already working, where you've got hundreds of thousands of people that are involved, and the testimonies are there of lives that have changed and people that are receiving cash flow, that's when you start saying, okay, it's working for them, so it can be work for me. Then you start inquiring and saying, all right, I've been holding on to my time of investment, because let's face it, for you to create wealth, it's going to take some of your time. So hold on to the time that you have, that you can give towards wealth creation. Now, we've spoken about wealth creation through the ambit of money, but do you know how wealthy you become when you become relationship rich? Relationship rich means, and we've been having a series of the past few weeks of how to use relationships to get to the next level. Now, today I want to just branch off and speak about wealth, and next week again I'm going to return and just build on this session, because this one was about leveraging money, But next week, I'm going to return and go back to how to use relationships to create relationship wealth. Because here's the truth. Your success or your ticket or your solution could be in a joint partnership with somebody else that's got the knowledge, that's got the experience, and that's got the love to partner with you to make you successful. I get so excited when I speak to you on a Friday and we do Free Coaching Friday. This is Dr. Anthony van Tonder. I'm looking forward to next week. Thank you for all the loves today. There was so much interaction from all the people, to all the people from all over the world. Until next Friday, see ya.